A used Mercedes-Benz S-Class with 60,000 miles can sell for less than a new Toyota Camry. The car isn't the bargain. The air suspension repair waiting for the next owner is. Because a single airmatic suspension failure on an S-Class can cost between $2,000 and $5,000 to fix, per corner. That's not a rare, unlucky repair. On aging flagship luxury cars, it's often just the first bill. Every year, thousands of buyers see a flagship sedan for a fraction of its original sticker price and think they found the deal of a lifetime. What they actually bought was someone else's six-figure problem, now discounted. Because in ultra-luxury cars, depreciation isn't the real enemy, ownership is. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly why 4 of the most prestigious flagships on Earth became financial traps with real numbers, and why 1 quietly earned the trust of buyers who could afford anything. Let's start with that S-Class. For 3 decades, the S-Class wasn't just a luxury sedan, it was the technology benchmark the entire industry copied years later. Adaptive cruise control, night vision, massaging seats, all introduced here first. But being first means becoming the industry's largest beta test. A 2010 S-Class today can list for under $15,000, a car that's stickered above $100,000 new. The reason isn't mystery. It's airmatic air suspension failures, electronic control module replacements, and soft closed door mechanisms, systems that were groundbreaking in 2010 and are simply old electronics today. Individually repairable. Together, they add up faster than the purchase price suggests. The listing price isn't the warning. The maintenance bill that hasn't arrived yet is. The BMW 7 Series tells a different version of the same story, not through mechanical failure, but through ownership math. Most flagship BMWs are leased, not bought. Industry-wide, luxury flagship lease rates commonly exceed 60%. That means the first owner enjoys 3 years of prestige, then returns the car before anything goes wrong. The second owner inherits a car built with extraordinarily complex systems, gesture control, active suspension, advanced driver assistance. At exactly the mileage those systems start needing attention. A single air suspension compressor replacement on a 7 Series commonly runs between $1,500 and $3,000. By the third owner, the car has usually changed hands at a price that makes the parts bill look absurd by comparison. That's not bad luck. That's the lease cycle working exactly as designed, just not in the third owner's favor. The Audi A8 breaks the pattern in a different way. Audi built the A8 on an aluminum space frame, lighter, stronger, more expensive to manufacture than steel. It's also dramatically more expensive to repair. A body panel replacement on an aluminum structure A8 can cost multiple times what the same repair costs on a steel-bodied competitor, because it requires specialized aluminum welding equipment most body shops don't own. Add adaptive air suspension and a fully integrated electronics architecture where systems depend on each other to function, and a used A8 becomes a car where one failure rarely stays isolated. That's why A8s frequently list well below comparable Mercedes and BMW flagships of the same age. The market already knows what's coming. Now here's the one almost nobody expects on this list: the Rolls-Royce Ghost. This isn't a reliability problem. Rolls-Royce's build quality is legendary, and mechanically these cars hold up well. The trap here is different. It's ownership economics that never scale down. A Rolls-Royce Ghost that sold new for $300,000 or more can become accessible enough years later for a buyer who can stretch to purchase it. But every service is still performed to Rolls-Royce standards, at Rolls-Royce labor rates, with parts priced for a car that never stopped being a Rolls-Royce. Routine services on a Ghost commonly run into the thousands of dollars. The purchase price fell. The cost of remaining a Rolls-Royce owner did not. So which flagship escaped the trap? It wasn't the fastest, it wasn't the most expensive, it wasn't even European. It's the Lexus LS. Since its 1989 debut, the LS has consistently ranked among the most reliable luxury flagships built year after year in independent studies from Consumer Reports and J.D. Power. That reputation wasn't an accident. Toyota engineers famously delayed unproven technology until it could survive years of real-world abuse, a decision that made for less exciting launch headlines and dramatically lower long-term ownership costs. A used LS depreciates on a noticeably flatter curve than its German rivals, not because it's less luxurious, but because the market has learned it won't turn into a repair bill the moment the warranty ends. That's why executives, collectors, and buyers who could afford literally any flagship on Earth often choose the LS anyway, not for the badge, for the confidence that it'll still be running exactly the same way in year 8 as it did in year 1. And that's the real lesson hidden inside luxury depreciation. The price tag tells you what someone paid. It never tells you what ownership will cost. Real luxury isn't buying a flagship for a fraction of its original value. It's owning one without wondering what breaks next. So here's the question. If someone handed you the keys today, would you take the prestige of an aging German flagship or the long-term confidence of a Lexus LS? Tell us your choice in the comments. And if you like uncovering the real economics behind the world's most prestigious cars, subscribe to Throttle, because sometimes the most expensive part of luxury isn't the price tag, it's everything that comes after.